What's something men do that comes across as creepy? For the last few years, I've been in the habit of walking up behind women in the office, massaging their shoulders, and whispering in their ears, "Daddy's home." Inappropriate? Quote, Conan O'Brien. When I was 19, I was a phone girl at a local pizza place. I would answer the phone and take people's orders for carry-out or delivery. One time this guy called and said he was placing an order for delivery. By the end of the order he changed his mind and said he wanted to order carry-out. The dude shows up and my coworker helps him and he says, "You're not the girl I talked to on the phone. I want to talk to that girl." I realize he's talking about me and I ask what's wrong. He then tells me he thinks I have a really soothing voice and should do ASMR. I was like, okay, that's weird but relatively harmless. The guy gets his food then leaves. We can see him sitting in his car for like 15 minutes. Then he came back in the store with a map and started asking me a bunch of weird questions for directions to somewhere. I said, "Why can't you just use Google Maps? I see you have an iPhone," and point to his phone. Then as I point I see him try to hide the screen. He had the audio recorder pulled up. This weirdo came back in the store with a thinly veiled excuse of asking for directions because he was trying to record my voice. It was so creepy. I told him, "Wait 1 second," and went to the back and told some coworkers what was going on. A friend of mine who worked in the kitchen, a 6'2" musclehead, walked out and was like, "I am great with directions. My girlfriend is terrible at them," while gesturing to me. "Let me help you." Suddenly the guy didn't need directions anymore. So yeah, I'm going to say whatever that was. That was creepy. Sit next to you when you're the only two people in a place with many, many seats. I'm a guy but a semi-frequent bar patron. Whenever guys ask bartenders what time they get off that they've had little to no interaction with, is incredibly creepy. Gives off, "I'll be waiting for you in the parking lot" vibes. Ask you out while you are at work or a situation in which you cannot leave. Stand an inch away from you when you're in a line. What video game have you played the most? As an adult, Dragon Age Origins. Maybe Baldur's Gate 3 will be able to overshadow it. As a child, Rayman 2, The Great Escape and Morrowind. World of Warcraft. I once went through all my characters and added all played time and reached at least 350 days. The highest on Steam would be Elite Dangerous with 3,254.4 hours on the Steam counter. And a few hundred more hours in Game Counter. Factorio. The factory must grow. SSX Tricky. RuneScape. Just between my two most played accounts I'm at 500 plus days played. Stardew Valley. The atmosphere. What is the worst reason to break up with someone? Well, a dude once broke up with me because I moved apartments and it added 5 minutes to his trip of 15 minutes. I broke up with my third-grade girlfriend because she threatened to rat me out and tell everyone that I was a foot watcher while playing Thumbs Up 7-Up. Foot watcher are those that would peek at the shoes of the players walking by. She did end up snitching. And I just told everyone she was lying about it because she was mad about me breaking up with her. One guy said no to a date with me because he hated my backpack. This was back in freshman year. You're worried what others will think of you for dating them. I think the worst I've ever heard was a buddy of mine got dumped because there was a food he really liked that his girlfriend could not stand and they actually got into a huge fight over it and she left and never came back. Real story. The sister of a woman I know was diagnosed with breast cancer and needed a double mastectomy and chemo to survive it. Her husband told her if she cut them off and lost her hair, he would leave her. Well, she decided he was more important than her life. She died from metastatic breast cancer, and the bastard remarried a few months later to a woman with big breasts and long hair. I would say his threat to break up was the worst reason I ever heard. So tragic that her sister chose that over her life. What is a privilege, exclusive to the opposite sex, that you envy? Jealous of the natural-born strength men have. I did heavy weightlifting for half a year. And I felt strong. I arm wrestled my average-sized husband, who has never lifted weights or tried to increase his strength. He won against me in seconds. Men's testosterone gives them so much potential and strength. Lol, I am so bitter. No periods for men is WTI envy. Wearing summer dresses. They're unbelievably comfortable, but look extremely silly on me laughing face. The variety of clothes women can wear and it be considered normal. I think men have much less variety than women. Oh, and good-looking athletics clothes. I've recently been exercising more to lose weight. Last week, I was walking and turned down a block near my home. There were 3 children who had just gotten off the school bus for the afternoon. 2 little boys and a little girl. Maybe 9 or 10 years old. The 2 little boys peeled off to their houses. That left the little girl. She was maybe 40 feet ahead of me or so. She's little and I'm 6 feet 3, so I gradually gain on her. It does not even occur to me that she might be worried as I walk regularly and I see lots of other kids on bikes, adult men and women walking, etc. I live in a beautiful country club neighborhood with parks and ponds and the golf course and a community pool. Again, it never even occurs to me that she feels she might need to worry about the 6 feet 3. Bearded, shirtless man power walking behind her. She hears my footsteps, turns around, is visibly terrified and begins to walk like those Olympic speedwalkers. A few seconds later she turns around again. And as she does I put my hands up. Say, "You're okay? I'll walk over here," and point to the other side of the road. I hustle over there and make absolutely zero eye contact with her beyond that. When I get to the end of the street to turn around, she's gone. So I assume she made it home. I guess I'm glad she has the presence of mind to be aware of her surroundings and be as safe as she could be. But it's almost embarrassing. I felt like a predator for a moment. Sorry, little girl. Admiring children without people thinking you're a perv. What is something that you really wanted to do, but then regretted doing it? Becoming a teacher. School started in August. By October, I knew that I wouldn't be back next year. Selling my house and all possessions in 2019 to full-time in an RV and travel the country. Yes, it has been fun, but now trying to get back into the housing market is a nightmare. And #X200B. Edit. For the record, I do not regret RVing across the country for 3 years. I just wish I would have kept my house and rented it out. The pandemic has made prices insane. I remember getting upset with my father when I was around 7 or 8 years old because he had given me the wrong video game. And I can still make out his dismay. Still haunts me today. Working a job that involves skills from one of my hobbies. Now it feels more like work than the hobby. I fucking love Danimals Go-Gurt. It tastes so good and every bottle is like a little shot of goodness. The only bad part is the bottles are so small that I am always left wanting more. For years I have dreamed of just having a whole cup of Danimals Go-Gurt. One day I was walking in the grocery store and decided to say fuck it and make my dreams come true. I bought a whole pack and dumped every bottle into a red Solo cup. I was so excited to have as much Danimals as I wanted. And #X200B. It was pretty gross. Too thick. The taste changes when you have too much of it. Turns out there's a reason why they give you such small bottles. Also, yes, I am a 27-year-old man who makes poor life choices. Don't you dare judge me. Someone find the post by the guy that had a kink for getting pooed on, but realized it should have stayed a fantasy as when he hired a sex worker to do it for him. It will always be the best Reddit answer to this question. Edit. Found it. https www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/comments/39070wr/serious_redditors_whose_sexual_medium 9 UTM_source equals share and UTM_medium equals Android app and UTM_name equals Android CSS and UTM_term equals 1 and UTM_content equals 2. Growing up, I was fascinated with scat sex. I used to download tons of scat movies and I always fantasized having a woman shit on my body and in my mouth one day. After years of fantasizing, I finally decided to pay for the professional escort Louise Hunter, who is well known for her scat movies. I turned up at her house and she seemed nice enough. She knew it was my first time experiencing scat, so she knew to take it slow. Louise had laid down some plastic on the floor in her living room, and lots of towels on top of that. I fucked her for a while, before laying on my back and letting her piss on my cock and stomach. Then she was about to start shitting and I asked if she could do it directly into my mouth. She happily shuffled backwards and started shitting in my mouth. As soon as the shit touched my tongue, I knew I had made a huge mistake. This was not how I imagined it would be. And at that moment I was simply a normal guy, on his back, with a woman's shit in his mouth. The thing was I was too polite to tell her to stop. She had already told me she had had clients that asked her to stop and I didn't want to be one of them. So I stuck it out, and just let most of the shit fall off my lips onto the towel. I finished myself off by wanking onto her and then she let me take a shower to clean myself up. Before I left, I've never watched another scat movie since and I have no intention of trying it again. Subscribe, my brothers.